With qualifying in the books in Daytona, Brian and I are in to talk about everybody that should be in and out of your DraftKings lineup, how to build lineups this week, and what strategies you should take, as well as look at the betting card. Obviously, we're going to be
Very light.
very smart about how we attack this week, but we'll build out some thoughts, give you some long shot targets that may make sense. We'll talk about prices, all of that and more on today's Angle of Pursuit podcast.
Ross Chastain used the wall all the way around this racetrack.
Logano has been the class of the field.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
Yeah, I need to change my underwear.
Brian Twining, we had a Monday finish in Michigan. Now we're talking Daytona on a Friday. It's been a weird NASCAR week. Xfinity races in the books. Congratulations, Ryan Truex. 2 of 8 races. He's a winner. Too bad his dad can't. Dad, brother, what's the relationship?
I think he's
cousin, whatever.
Brother. I think his brother.
Marty. Other people are screaming at their TVs. I don't care. Too bad Marty can't do that, because it would put him in a much better spot if he could win 2 races on the calendar. But yeah, qualifying order is set. We are going to talk all things DraftKings today. It's a fun week to mess around, do some weird stuff. We'll talk some general strategy and kind of off the top here as we kind of pull up prices. You really need to break your brain this week when building lineups. Don't feel like you have to spend all your money. Don't feel like you need dominators and lap leaders, and you just want to load up on guys that are starting in the back. Just very similar to like what we saw last week in Michigan, but just like put that on steroids, and that's what you need to do this week.
And I was going to say you could start a wrap with this, but stack the back. Like, that's what you're doing here. You're looking for placement differential. You're looking for guys that are going to be trying to go for the victory at the end. And who do you think is going to be able to survive and even be there at the end to, come out with a decent finish? I mean, if you watch the Xfinity race, which, as Kyle alluded to, Ryan Truex just won that. We're recording 20 minutes after the conclusion of that race. So if you watch that, you saw how chaotic things can get with like 7 laps to go. So, I mean, again, too, even we're going to talk about this later when we talk betting, but even in DFS, this is not a week where you want to get heavy or enter a ton of lineups just because or big money, because there's a lot of unknown, and anybody that says they can predict this type of race is full of shit.
It's definitely a week where normally we're avoiding the squirrels. This week we want to load up on squirrels.
Yes.
3 full of nuts. So let's talk about it. Denny Hamlin starting 19th, 10-3. Incredibly appealing. Obviously really good here. And is smart because he tends to play it right, where he'll be like, I'm going to hang out back here. I'm going to let you guys have the carnage. And then when it matters most, I'll put my foot on the accelerator and try and get to where I need to get. Brad Keselowski starting 12. The 9K range is a little bit larger, but I'll kind of include those guys since there's only 2 10K guys. Ryan Blaney starting 14th, Chase Elliott 10th, Byron 7th, Logano 3rd, Kyle Larson 9th, and Bubba Wallace 18th. Immediately Hamlin jumps out for me. Immediately Bubba Wallace jumps out for me. Is Blaney and or Keselowski in play, given they're not starting obviously far back, but they're both very interesting. We think the Fords can do well at Daytona, and they're starting outside the top 10, so that's fun.
Yeah, I think Hamlin is definitely going to be the most interesting play this week, and he's probably going to be the most rostered just because of his past success here at Daytona. And with the fact that now them being served that penalty from NASCAR takes him out of the running for the regular season championship. And so I think it's more likely that it's going to go one of 2 ways with him. He's either in FU mode and he's going to go for a win here, or he's going to be pushing Bubba Wallace. So I think if you're going to have Hamlin in a lineup, I think you've kind of made your bed and you have to include Bubba in that, because they are going to stay together for as long as possible and try to be there at the end with Denny pushing his car to as far front as possible to get him into the playoffs. So,
Yeah.
and I think the same can be said with Brad Keselowski. I think this is a good week to, latch teammates together here and just manufacturers, and don't get wild with like mixing and matching, because these guys are going to be locking together during the race and be finishing near each other.
And 99% of the time, I would say don't do this. But this week at this track, I think it's a fun week to bet exactas. Do a Buescher first, Keselowski second, a Bubba Wallace, Ty Gibbs, Bubba Wallace, Denny Hamlin, exacta. Get paid out, because it's going to be carnage. It's going to be total shit show. You want to get your reward. So if you want to have some wild takes, you want to have some fun. Hell, if you want to do a Gill and McDowell one too, like, go for it. For that, put $5 on a handful, total lottery ticket race.
Yep.
And then we get back to some normal to see next week at Darlington. But yeah, so Chase Elliott, William Byron, like Logano starting third is probably a non-starter. Kyle Larson inside the top 10, like, he is just not a super speedway guy. Like, it really feels like if you're paying up, it's Hamlin, it's Wallace, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, and I think they talked about it during qualifying, and it just all the more reason to avoid Kyle Larson. Daytona is one of only 3 tracks that he's ever run at in the Cup Series that he has yet to finish inside the top 5, and that he's come here 20 times. So, I mean, obviously, you can say that there's a lot of, anomalies and stuff like that in this guy's repertoire, but for that many races, that is a large enough sample size for me to just say, I am not playing him in DFS. I have no interest in betting him. He's a complete avoid.
Yeah, and honestly, if you're doing tournaments and you want to just skip the whole 10, 9, 9 and 10K range and start down here at 8s, I think it's very viable. Don't be afraid to leave salary on the table if you're trying to win tournaments. Now, if you're playing cash, obviously, you'll probably want to have some Hamlin. You'll probably want to have some Bubba. But if you want to shoot for the moon, and we're going to build some tournament lineups, maybe we'll even build a cash lineup just to give the people some vibes about that too. But if you're building tournament lineups this week and you want to just skip this whole range and go right down to the 8K, I don't fault you one bit. In that 8K, Chris Buescher 13th, Kyle Busch 11th, Tyler Reddick 25th, Martin Truex 17th, Chris Bell 27th, Ross Chastain 24th. Now we're cooking with gas. Alex Bowman 21st. The 8K range definitely offers some more palatable options. I don't hate loading up on a handful of these guys. Do you have a name or two that stands out above the rest for you?
I mean, if we're skipping the top of the board, I think this guy is a little more dangerous just because of where he's starting. But I got to think that Kyle Busch, starting 11th, just outside the top 10. Obviously, you have the risk of him falling back outside the top 20 or wrecking early here. But this team is going to be going all out for a victory here. And so, yes, that presents the opportunity of checkers or wreckers. And I don't really see him wanting to get to the front early here because stage points really don't do anything for them. So I think they're going to be playing it safe for the majority of the race. But when we get going 10 to go, I sure as hell bet you're going to see the 8. And again, his teammate, the 3, locked together, making their way towards the front and maybe in the front, as we've seen before at Daytona. So, I don't hate going to Busch. And then the other old guy, Martin Truex Jr. He's never won at a drafting track, but he's been okay. It's not like he's been bad. And I sent out this tweet going back to what I said earlier in the week. He's the only guy in the Cup Series at all 5 next-gen Daytona races that has finished on the lead lap. And I mean, if you want safety, starting middle of the field, I wouldn't say he's locked into the playoffs, but he can't wreck here. So I don't think he's going to be getting crazy early. He may go for it at the end after he's already secured a couple of nice finishes in the first couple of stages, but I think he's going to be pretty safe. And starting 17th, he presents the opportunity of a top 10, and you're getting a decent points day out of him for 8,500.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't hate that. I love Bell. I know his results haven't been exactly what we've been wanting from this track, but he's been in position through stage 2 a lot. Starting 27th is easy click. Chastain, same, especially after what we saw last week at Michigan. The track house as a whole was looking pretty impressive. And then Tyler Reddick, last week's winner, I think he could easily be top 5 this week and be pushing maybe his teammate and be really, really rock solid. So 8,600. I mean, if you want to start with those 3
I
clicks,
mean, Reddick
even
did win at Talladega, so
who else won at Talladega? The 23, his teammate. So pretty good clicks. Pretty good clicks. 7K. Richard Stenhouse, 35th. Easy click. Michael McDowell, no thank you. Ty Gibbs, 26th.
I mean, if you're doing an all Toyota lineup, I don't really hate that. So one thing to kind of backtrack from what I was saying about like Bubba Wallace and Denny Hamlin is that if there is a scenario where, say, Ross Chastain, Buescher, or even Ty Gibbs or Bubba for that matter, if one of them wrecks out early, I think you can see a race play out to where the other 3 guys that are then now above the cut line played a little bit safer until the end, as long as there's not some rando guy up front that's about to steal the win. So,
Yeah.
obviously that's another factor into this race this week, because we still have next week to go. So unlike last year where this was the elimination race and it was all out, go for it, didn't matter what was happening, they still have one more race here, so they don't have to go for the win necessarily.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great call. Gibbs, I would point out, I'm a little more comfortable putting him in cash lineups. I don't think his ceiling is as high as maybe some of the other names, but I also think his floor is a little bit higher than maybe some of the scrubs that are starting in the back. So I think he offers a little more safety. So if you're building tournament lineups and you want some safety, you could go to him. But I definitely like that click much better in cash. Cindric, Austin Dillon, Chase Briscoe are hard clicks at their current starting spots. I don't think I'd click any of them. I mean, if you want to click Austin Dillon and you're
I was just
having
going to say,
Kyle
if you have
Busch
Kyle Busch and
exposure,
Dillon, yeah.
I don't hate it. Eric Jones starting 40th, 7K, easy click.
Yeah.
Gonna be popular, but that's okay. Noah Gragson, Todd Gilliland, Daniel Suarez, Shane Van Gisbergen, Josh Berry, Corey LaJoy, Ryan Preece starting in the top 5. Carson Hocevar round out the 6K. I mean, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but LaJoy is fine. If he doesn't kickflip his car last week, he's pretty solid. Hocevar, 6K, 37th. Don't hate it.
Love it.
And I like
It's
Suarez.
disgusting, but yeah. Yeah, this is the range where I'm really intrigued to have a bunch of guys from. Like, I think a great lineup starter would just be the 2 Trackhouse guys in Chastain and Suarez. And then if you wanted to stick with Chevy, you just put LaJoy and Hocevar in there, thinking that all of those guys at this type of track, they present the possibility of getting inside the top 20. And then Suarez and Chastain, you saw Suarez win at Atlanta already. You saw Chastain was there with 2 to go at Daytona already this season. So, I mean, he's clearly able to get it up front when it matters. So, I think that's a really interesting way to get different than the rest of the field.
And then, 5K, we got Zane Smith, we got John Hunter. Austin Hill, like he's never really found success when he jumped up to the Cup Series.
Yeah.
And especially with Justin Haley right there. Obviously, Haley will be a lot more rostered, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Harrison Burton, Daniel Hemrick is fine. It's BJ McLeod week. That's all I know. I'm just so excited to click that name.
The only thing that I worry about with McLeod is we're gonna need a caution before like lap 20, I would say, maybe, because they never have the speed here to stay with the draft. So we need short runs by him in order to stay on the lead lap early to be there at the end. and benefit from the carnage late. So that's
Starting
my only
38th,
worry.
he's less than 5K. If you need to finagle a lineup, he could make some sense. All right. Let's have fun. Let's build some lineups. Let's get crazy. Feel free to leave 5,000 on the table. Feel free to load up on all 5K guys. I legitimately do not care. I want to have fun this week. I want to get crazy. I want to get wild. Who wants to be the first click?
Bubba Wallace.
Okay. Welcome to the show, Tyler Reddick.
All right, Denny Hamlin.
Let's see here. Oh. Eric Jones, welcome to the squad.
All right, we're gonna get really gross here. Corey LaJoy.
There's literally nothing gross about that click. Love LaJoy. Love LaJoy. I mean, we have 8,800. So, like, I mean, I'm just going to click Chris Bell. It's
This is great. I love it.
super easy. Super easy. All the money right there. All the money.
Oh, man.
It's a little too safe, though. We need to get a little more aggressive with the next one, but we'll
Right,
see. I'm not going to force anything. I'm not going to put us in a position to be uncomfortable. Welcome to the squad, Justin Haley. First click. Who do you want next?
All right, Ross Chastain.
Okay. Well, then I'm just gonna go ahead and Trackhouse it up.
Oh yeah, no, I did that purposely because I knew exactly what the next additions there were.
Sometimes it's a little frightening at how well we can kind of anticipate what the next one's
I
gonna
just
do.
knew that was gonna be next. All right, if we're gonna get really gross, let's put our buddy BJ McLeod in here.
Oh baby,
just stay with the lead pack, buddy.
You know how to have a good time. Let's see here. Twice.
Oh my gosh. All right, then we got to do Hocevar.
Sure. Done. Done and done.
This has got to be the most disgusting lineup ever created.
Oh, no way. We can get it way grosser. We'll get way more disgusting.
All right.
You ready? Let's do it.
Oh no. So I was going to say, I was intrigued by Parker Retzlaff, but starting 29th is a little worrisome. Like,
yeah. And Joey Gase.
We don't have any exposure yet. Spinhouse.
Oh yeah, that's a super good click.
Yeah, we got to have some Recce in there. Oh my gosh, you're putting Joey Gase in the.
Oh yeah, I told you we're gonna get gross.
New York racing team. Oh my god. All right. Okay. All right. So to give us some safety, what if we add the RFK boys to this one? Busher and Kez.
It's a little too comfortable, but I'm happy to do it.
Now, so I kind of skipped over when you asked me about him, but Ryan Blaney, like obviously I think they're going to be doing everything they can to, you know, I'm still a firm believer that if it comes down to it, they're going to be pushing whatever Ford is up front that doesn't have a win already, while also trying to win, of course. But the manufacturers are going up against each other as well here. So I think that Blaney, if it comes down to it at the end and it's Busher, Keselowski, Blaney's going to be helping the 17 car get in.
Welcome to the squad, Ryan Blaney. YRB, welcome to the squad. Look at those lineups. Look at that 12,500 left over.
Oh my god.
It's beautiful. It just brings a
That's
tear to
probably
your
going to be
eye.
the one that cashes too.
Oh, I can't wait. I literally, if we take down a GPP with a BJ McLeod lineup, I may just retire. I might just be like, that's it. It literally cannot get better. It's like hitting a hole in one.
All right, proposal for you though. Because people are probably going to be out on the HMS guys, do you think it makes sense to make a lineup that has like Elliott, Larson, and then maybe the RCR guys, Bush
I
and
mean,
Dillon?
that feels like I feel like one or the other, not both, but let's see here.
So I feel like Kyle Busch for me is probably the furthest up driver I'm like comfortable playing just because I know what's on the line for him and how good he's been at the super speedways. Oh, we don't have any Truex either.
We do not. I think we I just like I don't see like you could convince me to do Elliott and Bowman, but I can't click Larson or Byron given where they're starting and given what I expect from them, even though Byron is the defending champ of the one that won the opening race.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair
But
enough.
if you want to do Elliott and Bowman, I would be fine with that. I mean, we could do Elliott, we could do Truex, we could do Bowman, we could do Austin Dillon.
And then
That feels like so much like starting forward that I it's hard for me to click that much.
yeah, there's too many guys starting it within like the first 20 cars there.
Yeah.
But if you were to tell me that, say, like Martin Truex Jr. got a top 10, that's not going to be surprising. Whereas like Elliott starting 10th is so dangerous at a super speedway.
Yeah.
And if we're going to have like a Bush, I don't know. I'm a little more worried to have two of those guys if they're not teammates. Like the RFK.
You'd rather do Bush, Bowman, and Truex than Bush, Bowman, and Elliott?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, give me the seven spots and a discount.
Okay.
And then I was gonna say, what about like Daniel Hemrick?
Fine. Happy to do it.
Yeah, he's popped a couple of times already this year. He's pretty good at supers.
Well, and I like it that his starting position is a 2, not a 3. If it was 31, 33, 35, I think he'd have 4 or 5 more % ownership.
True.
But I think because he's starting inside the top 30, I think it makes him a little more compelling.
All right, maybe we go back to Justin Haley here.
Yeah, I think that's a good call because I don't want to click 3 lineups with Corey LaJoy. I can't do that to myself. I can't do that to myself. I think Hocevar makes sense.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna leave the floor open to you on the final guy.
I mean, Eric Jones is the easy click, but I don't. I think I'm just going to do
like
in a vacuum, Stenhouse or Eric Jones. Let me look at projected.
I think because we're so Chevy heavy here, let's add
Chevy heavy.
Yeah, I would go Ricky.
Eric Jones is about almost 10% more ownership projections.
Yeah, give us Ricky.
Ross Chastain has 10% less than Recchi, and his projection is only like 3 or 4 points off, which I don't hate either. And they're like right next to each other.
Yeah, but I mean, ceiling wise, I think they're similar.
Yeah, and if
we're trying to take down a GPP, like you want ceiling.
We do want ceiling, but if the ceiling is similar and we get 10%
Well,
less.
I mean, in race finish, if you were to tell me that Ricky Stenhouse was coming to the checkered flag with Ross Chastain, I'm not going to bat an eye at that. And you're getting 13 extra spots.
Yeah. Yeah. Done and done. I will be entering. So what I think I'm going to do is our normal 3 max. I'm going to put every lineup but the BJ McLeod lineup, and then I'm going to throw BJ McLeod into a couple single entries.
Nice. Love it.
Because if we're going to cook with gas, let's light this bitch on fire.
Oh my gosh, we are going down in flames.
I'm so excited. So excited to read. We'll be back normal time on. We'll record Tuesday. It'll be in your feed on Wednesday. Yeah. Let's talk some bets. Is there anything else DraftKings wise you wanted to chat about?
No, I don't. Look, I didn't really do much research heading into the week. I'm not doing any research post qualifying here. This is literal spitballing, throw this pasta against the wall here and see what sticks, because I don't think anybody can tell you one way or the other what's going to happen tomorrow night.
No, but it's fun to talk about, and I think, like I said, it's a good week to really get wild. Do some exactas. Let's see if we can find some fun bets to do. The outright odds haven't shifted too much. Is there anyone inside 20-1 that you're considering firing on?
So the only person that I bet personally so far inside 20 was Chris Buescher. I just feel that if anybody in this range here is going to get the most help, I think it's going to be Buescher, because he's going to have Keselowski, and call me crazy, call me tinfoil hat man, but Keselowski's past relationship with Penske, I think, could come into play here. And you could see the Penske cars when Harrison Burton is nowhere to be seen. They're one alliance, or Rick Ware Racing is nowhere to be seen. I think you're going to see, or even the front row guys for that matter, like McDowell and Gilliland. If Buescher is out front, you're going to see Fords try to push a Ford to a win. And that guy that's going to benefit the most is going to be Chris Buescher, which is why it's the only guy I'm playing inside like the 25-1 range this week.
I will say, I know it's a lot, there's a lot more carnage expected in this, but getting Buescher at plus 650 to top Ford is almost more compelling for me than betting him outright.
Yeah, no, I see that, because
Especially
I
if
also
it's
bet that at 7-1.
16-1. Yeah, same. But
yeah, so
I think if you can get 6-1 or better, and his outright price is like 16 or worse, I think I'd almost rather take the top Ford. And you could always take the outright and then back it up with a manufacturer prop, but completely on your call. I don't hate Bubba at 16, like we talked about with Hamlin and potentially Reddick pushing him, but I really wish I could get a better number. Is there?
yeah.
Let's see. Does FanDuel?
No, Book's got Wise to the.
Yeah, I don't think they're good. Oh, 17. I don't know. It's fine. I'm not rushing to bet it, but it's fine. Reddick at 20, Larson at 20, Chastain at 20.
Chastain could be still had at 25 at Bet365, which
I don't hate that. I know
I don't hate that.
He was a lot at Michigan, but then he qualified really well, and then I think, what was he ultimately, 12?
Yeah, because I think he's one of the ones, he's spun or something.
So he's interesting to me. Chris Bell at 20, I don't hate that. I'm not betting McDowell at 20. Truex, Alex Bowman, Austin Spindrick, Ty Gibbs, Todd Gilliland, Stenhouse is 35. Briscoe, I can't bet Briscoe inside of 50. Not even here.
No. I know, Austin Dillon at 40.
I think I'd rather bet Eric Jones at 40.
The only thing about Dillon that I worry about is, could you imagine if we're in a scenario where there's 3 lanes coming with 2 to go, and it's Hamlin leading the outside, Logano leading the inside, and Dillon's in the middle?
Yeah, and then Dillon just taps the brakes, and Logano and Hamlin smack into each other, and then he cruises to the win. That would be hilarious.
fantastic.
Justin Haley at 60? Like, let's fire some darts.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean, I bet Eric Jones last week because he was 200. Now he's 40. Like, I don't.
Yeah, but that was 200.
I have, so the ones I have so far is I have Daniel Suarez at 50, which is he longer? He's 60 now. I don't hate
I
that.
don't hate that.
And I have Hocevar at 150. And he's 65, so that's kind of good. I don't know if he's longer.
I don't think it's gonna hit, but
no. But if you're gonna bet him, bet him in triple digits.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hocevar 60. I mean, let's cash out our CLV right now and take it to the window.
I wish.
Chastain at 27 is okay.
I don't hate that.
Austin Dillon at 44 is kind of fun. Stenhouse at 44 is much more appealing.
I do kind of like
I'm gonna
that
actually
because
add that. Ricky Stenhouse 44-1. Welcome to the card. Shouts to FanDuel, who's actually been giving us decent odds. Like, I know we put him in a lineup, but I think I feel better about like Ricky Stenhouse, like checkers or wreckers, and being a top 6 car. Like, I wouldn't bet him for manufacturer. I wouldn't bet him for placements. But if you want to take a lottery ticket on outright, I don't hate it.
yeah, and I think something to consider with Ricky Stenhouse too is that they're much like Kyle Busch. They're not anywhere near really the playoff conversation right now, especially Ricky Stenhouse for that matter. So, like a win here, it would be amazing for them. And so obviously they're going to be going for it at the end. And we've seen them win it before. So
Briscoe at 44 is a lot more compelling than 30 something, 35, 33, whatever you have.
if Briscoe's out front coming to the end, he's going to wreck. He's not going to win.
So the thing is, like, he's actually been decent at super speedways, but he also has this thing where it's like stage 2 and he tries to go really hard, like the race is about to end, and he has shenanigans happen. So you're probably smarter than I am.
Yeah, that's why I have zero inclination to bet him.
And like like Ty Gibbs is sort of interesting, but I think he's like actually a better top 10 bet, which like I don't want to bet anyone to top 10, but like I don't really want to bet his outright. I don't think he can win.
Yeah. I do think if you got in on Gilliland before qualifying, which I don't think his numbers moved that much. You probably got like a $2 or maybe $20 difference here, but guys like Gilliland, McDowell, who are well beyond the playoff picture, these are the guys that I think you throw darts on because they have to win. So they're going to be doing everything possible to win the race. Whereas a guy like Truex, for instance, although the number is nice, he is like, he just has to survive this race.
Yeah.
And he's sitting pretty to get into the playoffs. You know?
Yeah. Like, if you want to take a top 5 shot on some of these guys, top manufacturer, like you want to get real loose, go for it. But I'm not betting them to win. I don't think they have anywhere near speed to win. Like, we've seen weird stuff happen, like that Atlanta year where they had like the mind-boggling top 5. But I don't know. I think like Justin Haley at 70 is like the last viable winner of this race. Maybe Hocevar, maybe John Hunter.
That'd be a lot of fun if Justin Haley won this.
Yeah.
Trying to look here. Wow, yeah. It looks like FanDuel does have the best numbers right now.
Yeah. Our favorite offshore has Haley at 66. I think I'm going to put $10 on it and see what happens. I think Justin Haley's fun.
Who did you add? You added Spinhouse?
I added, yeah. So I had Suarez at 50 and Hocevar at 150, and I added Stenhouse at 44. I think he makes sense. If you can get him 40 or better, I think it's worth taking a shot. I don't love the 30 whatever. I don't think you're getting paid out enough, but if you just like obsessed with Ricky Stenhouse and you want to take a shot, go for it at whatever number. But I wouldn't bet it unless it started with a 4.
You know what? In honor of
is he gonna
our
spin
buddy
out on the
Skybox
first lap?
NASCAR
How did you get those?
and the Busch Light Peach, I don't know. My local liquor store somehow had them. I'm gonna add that 27 number on Ross there.
Yeah, I think it's a good number. Like a Florida man winning the Daytona, smashing a watermelon, like it all lines up.
Think about it. It's just fits perfect.
Yeah. Is the speakeasy open? Manufacturer. Top Chevy. Bowman at 9. Chastain at 9 is kind of fun.
The speakeasy.
Stenhouse. Yeah, that's a full tank with Phil.
Yeah, I love it.
Thing I can't take all the credit. Daniel Suarez at 20-1 to be top Chevy is going on the card.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Man, I really wanted to get some action on Kyle Busch this week, but
Said no one ever.
hey, I've actually been high on him the last few weeks, so
I know, it's weird.
he's brought decent cars.
So with McDowell and Gilliland jumping up, are we getting any better numbers on the guys behind him? Does
For
not
top
appear
4?
to be the case. Yeah.
I don't think so. I still think the best top 4 number is Buescher, and
Yeah,
it's
I
not
agree.
close.
Agreed. Eric Jones at 12-1 to be top Toyota is interesting, but I feel like he might win at that price. I'd rather just take the 44.
Yeah,
right?
I was just gonna say if he's gonna be top Toyota, he's probably finishing top 3 or top 5.
Is there the next question? Is there any matchups where we're getting insane value? Because I don't feel like we are.
Yeah, no, books
Here you could get
completely
RCR at plus 105 against Stuart Haas. I don't hate that if you like Kyle Busch.
plus money matchups are money.
Bowman versus Cindric. I don't hate that.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If I was in Vegas right now, I would bet that because I took Cindric plus 120 at our favorite offshore before qualifying.
Yeah, there's no like juicy matchups that I'm like wanting to hammer.
Like I wish they would offer like Justin Haley versus Kyle Larson or something this week, and people that are unknown to the sport would be like, "Oh, you got to bet Kyle Larson in that."
Chase Briscoe. I'm going to do this just for Brian. I'm going to take Chase Briscoe plus 105 against KFB.
Gross.
Yeah.
I don't fault you though.
Where are we at? BetMGM.
Yeah, I will say I am not placing, and I do not suggest you place any negative money matchups this week.
No, don't bet any like minus 130s, or I don't care how strongly you feel about it. The carnage is going to happen and you're going to get screwed and you're like, why did I make that stupid bet?
Yeah, exactly.
Do we have any matchups over here?
Yeah, I know FanDuel doesn't have any.
Bubba and KFB to finish in the top 10. I also don't love like the parlayable stuff or like this kind of stuff unless you're really getting paid out.
Yeah,
So
because
either Ross, Brad K, or Kyle Busch to win the race at plus 550.
I've just bet them separate. Ross at 27.
Yeah. Let's see here.
I mean, shit. I would bet Truex at plus 330 at that.
I was like, that actually kind of is interesting. I like Bubba here. I don't know, the plus 260s getting the juices going. Busher at plus 430 to beat Kez, Blaney, Hamlin, and Logano is kind of fun too. But he probably wins the race or gets close.
Well, I think too with that, I would go to Bet 365 and look for the top 5 market.
Yeah. All right, let's see. So there's 128 of these, so let's find a good one. Kez. Let's find here. Wow.
Logano and Busher is nice. Yeah, I just don't see a world where Keselowski wins the race and Busher finishes second. Like, there's no way that Brad would do that.
That's why I'm scrolling.
They probably took that off the board, though.
I don't think. Well, maybe. Let's see. Busher Blaney 100 to 1. That we talked about that. Bubba Logano. Busher Logano 100 to 1. Bubba Brad K. I don't see that.
There's Busher Kez right there.
Where? Oh yeah.
Oh, you passed
100 to
over.
1. Put that on the card.
Where hold on. Where is that? I gotta see. Is that in the speakeasy?
Yeah.
That's the exacta?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna look at Quinella.
Now you're just getting freaking loco.
No, it's either look, why don't you just bet? Well, no, it just makes more sense.
Isn't the Quinella like more?
No, so the Quinella is they can finish in either order.
And what's the price on that?
It's 50, but Keselowski's not going to win and Busher's second. That's just not happening.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. I'm trying to look for Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon.
What about Austin Dillon in front of Denny Hamlin or in front of Joey Logano?
No, I don't think they'd offer that.
Hamlin Reddick 125. Bubba Byron.
Like, there's a lot of these that I think people can completely eliminate.
Yeah.
From possibility. Like, if they're teammates, whoever is not locked into the playoffs, I just don't see a world where that person doesn't push the other one to the win.
Sure. I think that's reasonable.
Now, in this instance, I could see this happening. Denny
Bubba,
Hamlin.
Bubba first, Reddick second, 175. That's going on the card.
Damn, that's pretty good. Kyle's going for it, folks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 75. I actually need to make that. I'm only putting it.
I'm going to add that too.
I'm putting 1/10 of a unit. I'm not putting like.
I mean, I'm going to have to go back and adjust these again anyways because our sheet got jacked up again somehow. So.
Oh, yeah. No, you're definitely down 162 units.
Yeah, how does it up?
Like it was fine when we recapped the Firekeepers, and now
I don't know what the hell's up with the sheet.
This stupid sheet. I swear to God.
I know, it's frustrating.
It would you know what I want to I mean this is a project for the off season, but I want to build like a bet tracker out where we can put in all of our bets with custom percentages. And it does all the math for us and figures out our season long. And then we can actually post it somewhere and people can look at our bets. I know Action Network does it, but you have to has to be within their books and there's a whole thing to it. And We like to get a little loose, fast and loose sometimes, so I don't want to get pigeonholed into keeping my percentage up.
Oh, and for those of you that are catching this right now, it sounds like Jalen Ramsey for the Dolphins is going to be ready for Week 1. So,
I mean, that just kind of broke my brain that Jalen Ramsey's on the Dolphins, but that makes sense.
All right. We could go all night looking at long shot bets here. So I just have one question for you, Kyle.
Yes, sir.
Who's winning tomorrow?
Ooh, let me tell you. Who is winning tomorrow? You know what? We didn't find Danielson. I mean, I've been on him all week. Daniel Suarez is winning the race.
Oh, wow.
60.
All right.
Best number on the board. I think he gets it done. I think he bookends his season with a strong finish in a win in a super speedway to start the year and a super speedway to end the year. Yeah, that's my winner. Who's your winner?
It's got to be Chris Buescher. I've been on him all week. It's too much working in his favor in terms of getting support from the best pusher at super speedways and Brad Keselowski. They're always
Pusher
up front.
will no longer be the pusher. He will be the pushy.
Yes.
All right, so let me break down the card for the fine folks so you can see where we're at. Like I said, Brian and I we sprayed the board, but this is like a percentage of our normal bets. I did go heavy on the Briscoe over KFB just because I want to rub it in Brian's face when that wins. Suarez 50, you can get 60. I would bet that. Hocevar 150, you can also get 60. I don't know that I would bet that. Stenhouse 44. I want to get a 40 something in order to bet him. Suarez top Chevy at 20-1 is really nice, and I'd almost consider that over the outright if you haven't bet either. If you're looking to supplement, do that. Briscoe over KFB plus money, 3 units. Let's ride. Busher first, Keselowski second, exacta 100-1. Bubba Reddick exacta 175-1. Brian has Wallace at 20, Hocevar at 150, Busher at 16, and Chastain at 27. He also did the Bubba Reddick and the Busher Kez exactas. If we hit those, Brian, we'll be looking mighty pretty. The Substack post will be out Saturday morning, aoppodcast.substack.com. If you've yet to subscribe, we're not going crazy on bets. I'm probably going to ride up the Briscoe over KFB. Brian may or may not have bets. We're not going to force anything. It's not a thing we do. We'll have extra DraftKings thoughts. We'll each pick at least 3 drivers to break down. We'll have links to the episodes. We'll have our full betting card. We'll have all kinds of fun stuff. Obviously, the race isn't until Saturday night, so there's still time for us to find some other nonsense to throw on the card, and we'll tweet that out at Notorious KRO at Brian_Twining. If you want to follow us over there. If you're on YouTube, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, and drop in the comments who is winning the Coke 0400 at Daytona. And if you want to get extra spicy, who's winning the regular season? Is it Tyler Reddick's now that Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson, all these guys seem to be kind of getting out of the way? Is someone else going to come up? So let us know about that. Brian and I will be back next week to recap the race, to get you set for Darlington, and the final race of the NASCAR season, Brian Twining. Obviously, we have playoffs, but the regular season concludes next week. I remember how excited we were when the season started way back with Daytona, the 500. Now we're going 400 towards the end of the season. This has been a crazy year. It's been a up and down year. Let's have some fun. Let's not get over our skis, and let's get back next week to break it all down. Once again, we will have the Substack art post out, so make sure you're subscribed if you've yet to do that. Completely free newsletter every race day in your feed. For Brian Twining, I'm Kyle Robert. Enjoy the rest of your week, and have fun with the race. And we get college football too. Like it's going to be a good weekend. We'll talk to you next time.